All right, welcome to True Talk. I'm my man James Pizzalia with us today.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up, bro?
How are you, man?
Awesome, dude. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dude. Thanks for kicking ass. I mean, that's what you're doing. So,
Trying.
coming off a pretty big month, right?
Great month.
Helped over 400 families as a whole. Is that right?
400 families as an agency. Did 40 myself.
Nice. You did 40?
40, yeah, but
Wow, my man. Back at
working
it.
hard.
Yeah. Are you in the Hall of Fame this year?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have you been personally Hall of Fame in the past? This will be your first time.
First time.
Look at you, dude.
And all transparency, it was not that important to me back when.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I was all about return on investment and
Yeah.
being a little selfish. But now I'm
Okay.
like, let's go.
What changed?
I just changed my mindset, dude. I'm
Yeah.
like, I just, you know what I mean? I have a lot of good people in the agency.
Yeah.
It wasn't fair to them for me to not work as hard as I could.
Got it.
So I
Yeah.
just, I don't know, it wasn't one individual specific thing, but
Yeah.
one day I was like, all right, you know what? We're just going to get after this thing.
Yeah. You wanted to pull your weight, too.
So here we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't lead if you're doing half of what your
Exactly.
top people are doing. Like,
Right.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says.
No, absolutely. I agree 100%, dude. I mean, part of why we grew so much when we started was Sean led from the front. Like, he wasn't going to ask you to do anything he wasn't already doing.
100%.
And, yeah, it's a tough spot to be in if you're, bark, hey, y'all need to sell more. They're like, dude, you don't sell.
Right.
Right? Like, they're not going to listen to you.
No, not at all.
But what's funny, James, is there are a lot of people that don't understand that concept. And they continue, like, almost barking orders, like, y'all need to do more. And now they may not say it to you, but they're thinking, like, he's up my ass about this, but we can see your numbers, dude.
100%.
You haven't helped any families since you started.
And you know what else they do? They say it to their buddy that they go to lunch
Exactly.
with and say,
Yep.
oh, yeah, he's telling us to work hard and he's not
Yep.
doing it. Okay, so, yeah.
How long you been with us now?
2020,
Wow, so 4 years. What's the most amount of families you've helped in a year personally prior to this year?
350.
Okay, so you've done some sales, but never over Hall of Fame level.
Correct.
Well, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. It's been fun.
Yeah. Is your background in sales?
Yes.
What'd you do before this?
Mortgages. Was in the mortgage industry for a long time.
Yeah.
Then I used to buy and sell IT equipment. I call myself an IT guy, but I really just was buying
Just
and
buy the
selling
equipment,
hardware.
yeah.
Just buying and
You
selling.
can't set it up, but you can sell it.
Zero chance. Zero chance.
Yeah. Was that before mortgages or after?
After.
After.
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you get into that?
08, the mortgage industry fell apart, right? And I had a buddy that was in a similar business, and I was like, oh, let's give this a whirl. It was great. You know, it fit my lifestyle because, again, there was a lot of flexibility to it. I could work on my own. It was really just me. And then it sort of just transitioned in 2020 into FFL.
Yeah. How'd you hooked up with us?
Eric Anthony, my buddy.
You knew him for how long?
Kids, little baseball,
I almost want to say I'm sorry for that.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I love
yeah.
Eric Anthony.
He's the best.
Yeah, he is.
We can sit here all day and tell stories about
Absolutely.
Eric Anthony, business-wise and personal.
Matter of fact, he's the one that told, because, I mean, it's funny. I think I see you more across the sidelines at sports games, right, than I do here. So you knew him back in the day. He was already with us, right?
He was already with you.
Yeah.
I think he was in Texas at the time.
Yep.
Back. He had moved to Texas. He was just, sharing. She was sharing the opportunity.
Yeah.
Timing worked out for me.
How many times did he talk to you about it before you finally?
A bunch. Yeah, a bunch. Posts on Facebook, talking to me about it.
What'd you think at first? Think he was full of shit, or?
I suppose,
You can say it, bro. Yeah.
It's, because some of it's hard to believe. And,
Absolutely.
And I love Eric, and he's very smart, but I have to make my own determinations about things, right? So it was, I wasn't sure at first. It took a while.
Yeah.
And then when I got involved, and I was like, oh, okay, this is real.
Yeah, what made you finally make the jump?
That IT business, I had some contracts with some big companies that overnight were like, hey, your contracts are
So you were looking for something to do.
The perfect opportunity. I had already been, dipping my toes in it a little bit and talking to Eric. I had already gotten my license. So the timing worked. Yeah.
Got it. What was that transition like? Because, I mean, you've been in sales, but that's different, right? I mean, you sold mortgages, which, okay. And then, I'm not to downplay, but, it's a different sell.
totally
And
different.
IT equipment, same deal. I mean, there's a need. Certain people have a big need for that. You can't sell that to everyone. Now, were you selling to businesses, individuals? Or?
A little bit of both. A little
yeah.
bit of both. We were basically wholesaling, right?
Yeah.
So we just buy from a big business and sell it to a dealer or something like that.
And this is different.
This is way different.
Yeah. What was that like early on?
It was a struggle early.
Yeah. The phone, in-home, both. What would you struggle with most?
I struggled with the phone at first.
Yeah.
I struggled with understanding the products. And I say that, understanding the products, because I had to simplify it for myself. Because there are so many different carriers and so many different products, right? And I wanted to know all the products and all the carriers.
Oh, you were that guy.
I was like, and then your head's just spinning.
Yeah, what was Eric saying to you then?
Just go, just call somebody, meet somebody, show up
get out there.
Just get out there, call. What are you doing? And he was funny, though, because I was hard at the time, but he was very, to your point, like, dude, just do it.
Yeah.
Just go. Stop asking so many questions. You don't have to know the answers to everything, right? So I figured that out. Took me a little bit of time, figured that out, learned to simplify it. And then once I was able to simplify it, I could expand my knowledge on the products, right?
It's a great point, though. I think a lot of agents complicate it.
Yes.
Right. To your point, they're looking for every answer first, where it's like you may run into one situation where you're unprepared. But like to Eric's point, just call someone. How many times did you do that early on? Just call Eric or someone in the home?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And the business has evolved, right? Like, there are a lot more processes in place, a lot more resources available. Back in the day, it was like, here's, a couple phone numbers, here's some Excel spreadsheets or Word docs that will show you which carriers do what. So it's definitely.
Yeah, now there's apps that do that. You just punch in the medication. Dude,
Right. It's changed.
Yeah. And we were still in the home then, right? You didn't start.
Oh, in the home, running around. But I liked that. I figured out early, like Sundays was my day.
Yep.
I would book a bunch of appointments on Sundays, run around all day. People are home. People were easy to talk to. And I did most of my selling on Sundays.
Yeah, that's what we did. It was crazy because a lot of people fought it. Like, well, that's my day. Like, yeah, but you're taking the amount of work you can get done on a Sunday or a Saturday would take you 3 days during the week.
100%.
Because now you're dealing with their work schedules as well.
Absolutely.
Now, there's some people that work Sundays, but a lot of our clients don't.
Yep.
Most of them are home. And you could get, 2-3 days worth of appointments done in a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was easy for me because my wife works.
Yeah.
Works on Sunday, so I don't want to deal with my kids anyway. So I'm like, all right, I'm off.
How many kids you got?
3.
Dude, your daughter, who's the one that's in 8th grade?
Alexandra.
She's a phenomenal athlete, by the way.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. It's fun because we're like my daughter's in 6th grade, so we see you guys here and there.
Yeah.
There was one game where they're like both rolling around on the ground together, and they're both like, "That girl hit me, pushed me," and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I know.
Like we work together. All it's okay. Just leave it out on the court,
100%.
But how early on? How did you manage that balance? Because all your kids are athletes, right?
All the kids are athletes.
How did you manage that balance between trying to be at everything, not and working? Like, what did you do early on?
It's very simple for me, Mike. Non-negotiables for me forever have been my kids and my kids' sporting activities. So I knew when they were playing, what their schedule was like, and I just worked around it.
Yeah.
I'm not missing. I've missed very, very few athletic events for my kids because it's been one of the joys of my life.
Absolutely.
Watch them play and grow.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest part about this business is like you have the ability to manage your own schedule.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you have to have non-negotiables with work as well.
Absolutely.
And your work schedule. But as long as you know what those are on both ends, you're off and running.
Right.
That's what and I've done that for a long, long time.
It goes back to work, dude. Like, you can do it. It's like you do two things. You make excuses, right? Well, I can't dial today because my daughter has a game or this and that. Or I'm going to get up early. I'm going to dial at this time. I'm going to run these appointments. And now with everything being virtual, like, have you moved over to remote?
Yes, all remote.
Are you
100%.
telesales or virtual sales?
Telesales.
Telesales,
Yep.
yeah.
Telesales.
How was that transition?
Great, man.
Yeah.
And the funny part is, we're talking about my kids in sports.
Yeah.
I've talked to more clients in the parking lots of gyms and field parking lots just because you're on 24/7, right? I'm available all the time. You call my phone, I'm answering it.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Right. So again, to that point, like non-negotiables, I'm going to be at the sporting event, but I'm also going to be there for clients calling and needs to talk to me and needs my assistance.
Yeah. You can take advantage of every little, like when you're saying that, it reminds me of when Eric Schmidt started. He was selling cars still. But in his downtime, he wasn't hanging out, scrolling through Facebook, eating lunch. He's like, dude, I'm going to run appointments. Like, he would leave his office, go run appointments, and come back to this, like, and be like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, but he also had non-negotiables, like you said.
Yes.
He's like, I'm not going to not sell at this level. Yep. I'm also not going to quit my job right now because he was, what he was making, it took a little bit to replace, right? He wasn't he wasn't working at Dollar General, bringing in cards. So he had a lot to, to replace with this, but he was able to take advantage of every downtime. But I think you have to have big goals too.
Yes.
Right? Because if your goals are small, you're not going to do that.
Agreed.
You're not going to be in the parking lot before your daughter's game selling a policy, helping out an agent if your goals are,
correct,
peanut size.
Correct, 100%.
But it makes it more worth it, right? Like you said, why? I mean, is there anything as a parent now, 4 kids, and all of them play sports, and I don't think there's not many activities I enjoy more than watching them play.
I agree. It's great, and this business has given me the opportunity, and I'm sure you do as well. But it's given me the opportunity to let them play any travel team they want, go anywhere they want, do anything that they want to do. It's the best feeling in the world. Yeah. To be able to, my youngest that we're talking about, she wants to play travel basketball and she wants to play travel lacrosse. All right, let me know. Who am I writing the check to? Let's go. And from me work agency business standpoint, I can kind of work from anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Give me a phone and an iPad.
Absolutely.
And we're good. So
you start looking at my son's on a travel team now, and you're like, wait, okay, this one's in Rhode Island. Oh, then we go to the other side of Connecticut. Oh, then we're in Baltimore. But with a lot of places that you would be like, no, I can't. A lot of parents would say no because my job won't let me.
Right.
But you're like, dude, if it's in Florida, I can travel. 100%. You could take your phone with you, right?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
That's all you need.
Yep. Agreed.
Agreed. That was Sean's whole thing. Dude, I can work from anywhere because I have this.
Yes.
I remember him coaching basketball. While we started this company, how do you have time to coach? Because just like you said, he'd be on the phone. Yes. The only time he wasn't on the phone is during practice. So you knew there was an hour and a half or 2 where you're not going to get a hold of him. Dude, the minute the practice is over, he's on his phone, returning voicemails, texts.
Yes.
But you got to be crazy intentional.
You do. And it's the same with me, right? Always have my phone on me.
Yeah.
People know if I don't respond in an hour, they're like, oh, I must be coaching lacrosse. I must be doing this.
Yeah.
And to your point, I just got back from Florida. Right? I flew down to Florida.
Yeah.
We have some agents in the group down there that I work with to spend some time with them. My daughter happened to be down there for spring break. Right? Yeah. Got her set up. Got an opportunity to meet with Sean. Went to work in the Boca office for a couple days. Yeah. So again, the non-negotiables, the flexibility, it's just an unbelievable opportunity. It really is. Yeah. As long as you're willing to put the work in, right? I would say it's a simple business,
right?
But it is not easy.
Not at all.
Right. So, and some people don't understand that. It's simple in terms of ABC, but it's hard. And
some people hear simple and think easy. Which is not the case. No. There's nothing easy about this.
Nothing easy. And you're going to get, your bell rung a few times. But I was mentioned this earlier. I don't know, but I just don't have bad days. You kick me a couple times. I'm just going.
Yeah.
I'm just moving forward every day.
That's huge, though, not having bad days. Because you could have a bad appointment. Yep. You can have a bad couple hours if you want.
Yes.
But don't let it ruin your entire day.
Nope. Can't do it.
Yeah. How do you manage that? Because, like you said, I'm sure you've had pretty bad days in the field, right?
Yeah,
what was one of the worst days in the field? Did you not?
Oh, please, probably a Sunday or pouring rain. And you drove around and no showed and got a cancellation along the way. Everybody has bad days. You have bad days on the phone.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Just moving forward. First of all, I work with unbelievable people, right? So, and I just think it's a blessing.
Yeah.
And I just refuse to have bad days. So if something goes really sideways.
Yeah, how do you manage it?
Sometimes I'll call Vern and he'll in 3 seconds tell me to grow up and move on, right?
Yep.
Family. Let's call my wife. Be like, all right, we need to go get a cocktail tonight or do something or hang out. But aside from that, and then I just focus on the stuff that matters, right? The family who just had the death claim that we paid out on, that got protected.
Yeah. It's all about perspective.
It is all about perspective.
Because, like, yeah, you could sit here, wallow in your own sorrow, feel bad for yourself, but, like, dude, or you could look at something positive. Like you just mentioned, death claims. You've had a few, right?
Absolutely.
Is there one that kind of stands
Absolutely.
out? Yeah.
Sure. This past 4th of July, I get a phone call from the wife of a client we wrote policy for.
Yeah.
Had a heart attack, dropped dead. It was husband, wife, daughter, granddaughter, all live in the same house. Italian family.
Yeah.
Right? I'm Italian, so we had, they cooked me some food.
Yeah, of course.
I remember all of them, all the details. She was devastated.
Wow.
What do I do? Well, we're going to call Americo in the morning.
Yeah.
So we called Americo. I think at the time it was Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
They got it paid out fast.
Yeah.
She couldn't thank me enough, right?
Right,
So that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Right? That changed.
Yeah, how does that feel? Because, like, there's new agents now that, it's hard to explain how that feels to someone who's not gone through it, right? Because if I'm telling you about my death claim, it's one thing. But for you to live and experience, I feel like it changes you in this business, right? How does that feel knowing, like, getting that call number one, but then knowing that you did something to impact this family?
Yeah, it's two things, right? Like, I'm happy I did my job. So there's a little bit of joy there. I don't know if joy is the right word, but you feel good that you help protect them. I didn't leave there without them having the protection in place, right? And then you're sad because a lot of these clients you build, certainly back in the day when you were going kneecap to kneecap, you build relationships, you spend some time there. I always tell the families that I meet with, like, number one, congratulations, you're approved. That's great news. The bad news is you're stuck with me now for life, right? Like, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
So it felt sad for the wife who just lost her husband, and the daughter who just lost her father, and the kid who lost her grandkid. So it's but it's rewarding.
Yeah.
Right? Their house got paid off, dude. So you can now live, and there's enough money in the household. And I remember it distinctly. Like, this is what you need to do. This is what it's going to cost. It's going to be a stretch. But if something happens, all the income is, I think his name was Joe.
Yeah.
So they're in a position now where they can keep their house.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah,
but like you said, you did your job.
Did my job.
You did your job.
Yep.
Not anything out of the ordinary. That's what we do, right? But I feel like because of how much we do, I mean, we help a lot of families. We're talking, you're going to help over 400 just this year.
Yep.
Your team helped over 400 last month.
Correct.
A lot of it. It's easy to kind of get caught up in the day-to-day of, like, it becomes apps, papers, but at the end of the day, every one of those apps is a family.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, this guy, Joe, would have passed away either way.
100%. Yes.
Right? Yes. Whether you went there or not, whether you went there and did your job or not.
Correct.
But fortunately you did, and now the one thing they don't have to worry about is the financial piece.
Yes.
And that's the big piece, dude.
It's huge.
And I feel like until you have your first death claim, it's hard to really understand this business. Yes. You can do great at it. You can help families, because I went, I think, a year before I had my first death claim. But once I had that first one, it changed my perspective on the appointment. Did you have that with your first one?
Makes it real.
Yeah.
It just makes it real.
Yep.
And like I said, because you had spent a lot of time at the house with the family, got to know them, and anybody that feeds me, like, we're good.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to eat, as you could tell.
Yeah, you and me both.
So, yeah.
Well, you have steak on your shirt. So anyone who wears a name of a food on their shirt, they love to eat.
But yeah, it does. And it changes your mindset moving forward.
It does. Yeah, how did you approach appointments differently after your first one?
After the first death claim, it's because, like, and Sean talks about this a lot, but, like, I know you're going to die. You could possibly die tomorrow. And, like,
correct. If
I don't get out here and help you, I didn't do my job.
Yeah.
And you're going to be in a bad spot, right? And I know it sounds so simple, but it's what makes it work, you know, and that mindset. And that really actually helped me help more families, because it's like,
absolutely,
hey, I'm not here just to provide for my own family. I'm not here just to make a commission. Like, I'm here to help you.
And I think early on, sometimes it's hard to make that delineation. So early on, and sometimes, new agents come to us, they really don't come to us independently wealthy, or they wouldn't be in sales, right?
Yes.
Like, so it is easy to get caught up in the, hey, I really need to help this family for my own family. But like you said, once you have that happen, it's like that all goes out the window.
All goes out the window.
Because at the, like, this client is going to die someday.
Someday.
We all are.
Someday.
And they filled this out, and here I am. I have the opportunity to do something to make sure that when that happens, the family's safe. It's just like a switch.
Just clicks. It clicks.
In talking to you, like, you're very accountable. Were you an athlete also growing up?
I was.
Yeah.
Yep.
What'd you play?
Yep. Played hockey.
Yeah.
Yep. Baseball, soccer.
How important is that? That's one of the reasons I love my kids playing sports, are the life lessons that come out. Like, yes, it's fun to watch them compete, but it's more what they learn, you know, and if they're with good coaches, and one of the things that I hope they all learn is that be accountable. Yes. And a lot of it's on you. Yes. Right? Whether you do good, whether you do bad, that's on you. Mm-hmm. Coach's job is to get you prepared.
Right.
But you got to make it happen.
Yep.
And then one of the biggest, like, you learn more from the losses a lot of time. Now, they're hard because your daughter's competitive.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter's competitive.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like when there's a loss, dude, it's like, oh, God, like, can we even talk to her?
Right,
you know?
right. You can sit in the back and not talk.
Yep.
Yes.
But how important do you think that is for you, like, being an athlete growing up and then being in sales? Like, I feel like they go hand in hand.
They do. You know, I always joke because when you talk to my father, right, both my mother and my father are still alive, right? They're 85 years old, been married for like 50 years.
Wow.
You talk, and there's 3 boys. I have 2 brothers.
Yeah.
And you talk to my father, and he was like, listen, I put you in sports because I needed to keep you busy. You were trouble, like you were getting in trouble, right? So, so it started there, and I think sports, it does a couple things, right? To your point, it holds you accountable. It keeps you really busy. You're going to school, and I played in college, right? I played hockey in college.
Yeah.
You're going to school, you're studying, have a busy schedule. Like, you're accountable to be at practice 2 hours a day. You have games in a week, and you're taking buses. So I think that's a big thing. It just teaches you work ethic.
It does.
Okay.
Yep.
To be accountable to a team, to be accountable to your teammates. Like, and what I really loved about sports and hockey is like, in the best teams I had, people were, and I feel this now with the agency, but people kind of got along, man. They're all moving in the same direction, right? And they all had each other's backs. Like, dude, I was loyal to you. You're loyal to me. Like, if you mess with me on the ice, like, my buddy was coming, he's taking you out, right? And vice versa.
Yep.
So I love, and I'm a loyal guy, dude. Like, you get my loyalty immediately until you've done something to break it, and then you're
give me a reason not to be,
and that's just how it works. But sports and business, they just kind of go hand in hand because there's a lot of the same, the work ethic, right? The teamwork, everybody moving in the same direction.
Right.
Like, there's just so many comparables, and the competitive part of it.
Yeah.
Like most good teams, everybody wants to win.
Right.
And the world, I think, has changed a little bit, at least from my perspective. There's not this emphasis on winning anymore.
Right.
And I'm like an old school. Like, if I'm playing, I'm playing to win. I mean, I literally last night, this is a funny story, but like, my wife loves to play pickleball. So she dragged me to play pickleball last night. Dude, we're playing. I'm trying to win.
Yep.
So doesn't matter what we do.
Yeah. Do the same thing. Like, my kids are big gamers, right? So the one game I can still beat my son in regularly is Madden. You get me on a shoot, he'll kick my ass and just about everything else. Yeah. And I also talk a lot of junk when I play, right? So
no surprise.
When he was younger, my wife would always be like, "You gotta, like, tone it down." I'm like, "Oh, no. He asked me to play.
Yes.
We're gonna be competitive. Yes. I don't give. We're playing volleyball in my yard, and I'm like, I'm not losing to my own kids.
Right. Well, you would teach him how to lose because then he understands what it feels like to lose.
Yep.
And that's very similar to business too.
Absolutely. But the teamwork aspect is a big piece because, like, your 3 kids all girls?
No, my son's the oldest, and I have two younger daughters.
Okay, 2 young. So, and it's different, right? Boys and girls.
100%.
Like, my daughter's in middle school. Girls are very, they're feisty, they're catty. And I remember this was actually before she was in middle school. I think it was 2 years ago. She played lacrosse for the first time. Just when you were coaching. We played you guys a couple of times. She had a phenomenal coach. And there was one practice where one of the girls was saying something about one of the other, and then the coach stopped and she goes, "Hey, guys, let me explain something to you. These are your teammates right here. You guys don't have to be friends. That's okay. But a teammate ranks higher than a friend in life."
Right.
and it just put it in perspective for these. I mean, they're like fourth graders, you
Right.
know.
It's okay.
But it's like, to your point, we get way too soft. Like, and I think there's benefits to it at at certain levels,
Certain
right?
ages,
Like, you're 4 years old. I'm not trying to make you cry because you didn't get a trophy.
Yeah, agree.
So it's not a hard line in the same like no trophy. Like, dude, when my daughter was 4 and her t-ball team sucked, I was happy she got a little trophy. You know.
Yes.
But my son who played travel ball, I remember his team sucked. And they were giving out participation trophies. And he's like, I want to leave. I don't want to go get my trophy. So I'm like, dude, cool, let's go.
Let's go.
Like I was,
good.
But he also was like 16 years old at the time. So there's levels to it.
Yes.
But her laying this out for them at that young age, like that's your teammate right there. Y'all don't have to be best friends. You don't even have to like each other. But when you're on this field, you're on a team. You're going to have her back. She's going to have your back.
Yes.
And that was a great lesson for them at that age. But it's the same thing with an agency, right?
Absolutely.
You have tons of agents.
Same thing.
Every agent's not your favorite person in the world.
Right. And every agent is different. And
Exactly.
every agent, you talk to Gary Allberg, best guy ever.
Love Gary.
Right?
Yep.
Love him. Like you can say anything to Gary, and he's just like, oh,
he'll just
whatever.
smile.
Yeah, he just laughs, and
Yep.
he's just plugging along with his day. And
Yep.
then, so your approach with Gary, and
Right.
Gary's going to show up. And I love him. He's going to
Yep.
show up every day. He holds himself accountable.
does.
He's going to work. He's going to do what he needs to do, and he's going to try to help others grow as well. That's why we work so well together. But there are different people on the team that have a different approach.
Sure.
And it also depends on, like, what's your experience. So if there's some new people and green people, like, they need something different than
Absolutely.
like Gary does. One of the things I talk about as we grow and agents come in is back to that point, like, it's a simple business. It's not easy.
Right.
The other thing about it is once you figure it out, it doesn't take that long. Like you only need, I don't say need me, but need an upline that knows a bunch of stuff for like, I don't know, 90 days. Because you could figure everything out.
Yep.
And then you then you don't need to call me like, dude, you're just off and running.
Right.
And which is kind of what I did when I started.
Yeah.
Like I needed. And then I was like, all right, I don't need you anymore. Like I love you, Eric, but I just don't need you any longer. Which I think is a really cool point to get to. And when you see agents get there, it's great because then you can sort of grow from there, right? Like now, how do we scale that, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and to your point, they all do need different things, but they're all part of your team.
Yes.
So because I hear it all. It's, oh, this guy drives me crazy. Yeah, but he's on your team, dude.
Yes, I know.
You got. We're not asking you to invite him over for Thanksgiving dinner, bro.
right,
you don't have to go to the ball game with him.
Right.
But when we're here, he's on your team.
Yes.
Have his back,
Always.
just like you want him to have your back.
Always. Very simple.
And I think a lot of those lessons come from sports.
Absolutely.
It was cool. You got daughters. I got 2 daughters. Did you see the draft dude, women's basketball is like moving up. I mean, the college game was one of the most viewed games.
It was great. I watched
all time.
It was awesome. I love the competition. It's the same thing with this business. Like I love the competition.
Yep.
And now that I'm in it,
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it because now I text Schmidt. I'm like, I know you got me by a little. I'm chasing you, bro. Which is fun. But yeah, the games evolved, sports have evolved.
Yep. Like, dude, the draft. I mean, Caitlin went first in the draft.
Yeah.
Dude, up until this year, I've never heard a word of the women's draft.
I would agree.
Right, like now, so it's cool. I mean, someone with having daughters, I'm like, that's awesome. That's now getting ready to. I guarantee WNBA viewership is going to be up this year with the girls that went early on in the draft or whatnot.
They've leveled up for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And it was on ESPN, right?
Yeah.
Now it's become mainstream.
Right. Which is awesome for many reasons, but obviously if you have daughters, you're like, yeah, awesome. But yeah, I mean, we used to run ads day one where it was like military and athletic experience required.
Really?
That's all the ad said.
I believe that.
Back when, but we'd have like a number which you could achieve, back then, and we'd put it on the ad and say military athletic experience required. And people would call, dude, no idea what the job was. What is this? A lot of them would know. This is sales, right? Like 100%.
Yes.
Well, and then they'll start selling you. I was in the military for 3 years, and I used to play this. And like, cool, you might be in.
Right.
But and I'm not saying those are the only people it works for, but if you've been in either or military, I've not been in military. But if you've played sports, you get systems.
Yes.
Like anytime you've been part of these good teams, I'd imagine the coach had some type of system.
Absolutely.
And you followed it.
Process,
Yep.
accountability. Like, those are all huge things.
Yeah.
All huge things in sports and really, again, in agency stuff.
Right. in life, that's one of the things I love about sports the most is the life lessons it teaches the kids at a very young age. And I mean, sometimes I was talking to a guy yesterday. He's like, "What are you doing today?" I'm like, Every kid has a practice at about the same time. That's what I don't know. I call my wife midday. I'm like, so Jordan's got to be here at this time. Carmelo's and like, okay, so all right, I'll take these two. You take that one. Sure.
Good to go.
Let's go. But it's worth it, dude, in the long run.
It's the best.
Yeah.
And again, this business has given the opportunity to allow us, right?
Yeah.
The flexibility to be part of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Man, all the time.
Right. And dude, sometimes when you're getting going, there will be some sacrifices. Like I would imagine you missed more events and athletic when you first got started than you do now.
Yeah, I don't miss many though.
Yeah, we know. Well, you're also a worker. It's just, showing up every day, dude. It's half the battle. Being consistent.
Showing up every day.
Yeah.
Dude, convention this year was unbelievable.
You've been to what, 3 or 4 of them
now?
4.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was unbelievable. As I sat there looking around, I'm like, holy cow, there are so many new faces that I don't recognize.
Yeah, how many people did you not recognize?
A lot, probably more than I knew, right? And just killing it, right? So the system works, like this system, then figure out your system. Like Family First Life has an unbelievable system and process.
But you're right, you got to figure out how it works for you.
You have to figure out how it works for you. And it's different for everyone, right? And it's down to the simple sales cycle is different for everyone. And conversations with people are different for everyone. So, and I think agency building too. So,
yeah, on that front, agency building, one thing is that I wish everyone understood is, as much as we're saying find what works for you, there are some people that this doesn't work for. There's a good chunk. There's more that it doesn't work for than it does.
Yes.
And that's the whole key to recruiting is finding the ones that it works for and spending your time with them.
Yes.
I think sometimes, and I don't know if you've gone through this at all, but where the person recruiting thinks everyone's going to do it, and they spread themselves too thin. Yes. They don't want anyone to quit. Yes. And it's like, dude, someone quitting is not a bad thing.
Nope, not a bad thing at all. Nope.
There's a lot of people that I wish we could go back in time, James, and go, hey, bro, you should just go get a job somewhere.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the faster you figured that out with especially agency stuff, the better off you are.
Yeah.
And we're trying to do a lot of stuff on the front end now.
To avoid having to,
Yes. And like real conversations, and almost to the point of like, hey, dude, I don't want to hire you. I really don't. I think you're going to be terrible.
Yeah.
And you respond to that. Well, however you respond. But like, I'm trying to convince you not to join us.
Exactly.
And then if you do join us, then I bring you in and we roll. And I'll ask some, behavioral questions of some people.
Yeah.
And we're doing the kind of the slow and steady right now. I mean, we help 400 families, 22, 24 agents. So
just like you would if you were running a team, right? Like you're running it. You're coaching the lacrosse team. This girl comes on, and she's a Cancer.
Gotta go.
Exactly.
That's it. See you later. And it's okay. Again, to your point, it's not for everybody.
Right. It's like you see this on some of these teams where the kid's playing, and they have no desire to play.
Right.
It's all about the parent who used to play.
Yes.
And now they're reliving their, sporting through their kid. It's like, dude, Timmy don't want to play basketball. Get him off the court. He's miserable out there. And you're yelling at him, get the ball, Timmy. He's like, dude, I don't want to touch the ball.
I don't want to be here.
I want to go home and play Roblox or whatever the hell it is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And that's fine.
It's okay.
But it's the same thing in this business. We, people think they want to be part of the business. And then you're almost begging them to do it, right? Like if you're selling someone on why they can do it, just stop.
Just never works.
Like to your point, let them sell you on why.
Never works.
Nope.
Watched it 100 times.
Yeah.
And really then what happens is I get frustrated or the people in the agency that work with me, Gary gets frustrated. And then it just, again.
Yeah, looking at you like, why'd you bring this guy into our team?
What are you doing, dude? Yep. Right. So, and again, it affects the culture, which, it's just important to me. And all moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
Right people. Because if you find the right person, willing to do the right things, willing to sacrifice, it's a great opportunity.
Yep.
And I will say that forever.
Absolutely.
You can't say anything that will change my mind because I've lived it for 4 years,
Yeah.
from, running around for 20 hours a week to now all in going 60, 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes 80.
Right.
So you're not, no one can ever convince me any different.
No, I love that. It's a great opportunity for the right person.
For the right person.
For the wrong person, it's the worst opportunity ever.
And it's a nightmare sometimes for
It is, yeah. Like for the wrong person, this is the worst. Go do something else. That's okay. But anyway, I'll ask you, we like to end sometimes, James, with questions that have nothing to do with life insurance.
All right.
So I see you got steak on your shirt, so I'm going to pull one of my old questions out the book.
All right.
You're on death row, dude. What's your last meal going to be?
Oh, steak.
Yeah, what kind?
Probably a ribeye.
There you go. Okay.
A ribeye, medium rare. Yeah, and a whiskey if they give me whiskey.
Yeah, anything you want. It's your last meal.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Steak and whiskey. Some potatoes on the side.
In all transparency, my wife shops for me, and I just grabbed this and threw it on, and was pointed out when I came in here. Like,
you're like, oh,
nice shirt. I'm like, oh boy, you can turn it inside out if you want.
No, you're good, dude. Love it.
Yeah,
love it.
great.
Cool. Well, kudos to your wife for picking out the shirt. Well, it's funny. I met your wife at the volleyball game.
Yes.
And you were like, my daughter gets her competitiveness from my wife.
1,000%.
Yeah. Because you're like, you're competitive, but you're more subtle. Like, you're not yelling and screaming. No. And your daughter's aggressive.
She's fired. My older daughter's worse.
Really?
Yeah. She's like, I have at multiple times in my life, I've had to be like, hey, like, the girl falls down, you don't have to help her up, but you also can't kick her as you go down. Like, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense why our daughters are going at, because Carmela's the same way. Like, you can't, like, she hit me, I know, but you can't hit them after the whistle. Like, I'm like, maybe you do it, like, when the ref doesn't see
yes,
it,
exactly.
right? Like, I used to wrestle, and there's all these, like, little, like, you're going to do a half Nelson, or a crossface, I can accidentally punch you in the face, and the ref's not going to see it.
And it's okay.
But I'm not going to stand up and just, wail you. Like, I'm coming across, and I may have a little bit of a closed fist. Maybe I hit you with the wrist a little bit, but that's subtle. But my daughter, she's like, the whistle's blown. Now, the girl did hit her. I saw it. But she then pushes her. I'm like,
hey, she's standing up for herself.
Oh, yeah, I don't have to worry about that.
Stand up for herself. And your daughter's a great athlete, too. And it's funny because they do compete. And I actually said to my daughter, I'm like, listen, I work with her father, A, and B. Like, he's a big dude. So if you could not mess with her, it was
all fair in the game, dude. Yeah.
I'm just trying to give her a little.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't notice that, but I'm seeing her rolling around. It was in the championship game. Because they put in our 8th graders and we got demolished. And they put in the 6th and 7th graders and we actually started, like, they were more competitive. I'm like, you should have started a damn game with them.
Way more competitive.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Yep. My daughter don't care, dude.
Future's bright.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, God. And she's rolling around like, oh, that's Paz's daughter. I'm like, oh, shit.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Like, sorry, dude. But the good thing is they're both equal. Like, they're both aggressive, so let them have at it.
They'll probably grow up and be best of friends.
Yeah, exactly. Just not on the court.
Just not on the court. That's, I'm good with it.
Exactly. All good. But I appreciate you coming and doing this.
Man, it's great. I love seeing you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. And even though you got us in basketball, we did get you guys in volleyball. Now, it's not to say.
You did. You got us. You definitely got us.
It was good, but it's been fun.
Yes,
well, I appreciate you, dude.
Thank you.
Guys, thanks for checking us out. Hit subscribe button if you haven't already. And real quick, James, are you on social media?
Yes.
Yes? Where can they follow you?
At James Pizzalia or at One Life Insurance.
At One Life Insurance. Got it. So if you're watching this, you want to join Paz's team,
yes,
reach out to him there. We appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe and like and share this with some people that you know would help. Appreciate you coming. I appreciate everything you're doing too, dude. Well, we'll see you next week, guys, right here on True Talk.